Romance Book Monsters. It's your girl Lollipop here with my co-host Kitty Boom.
Hi.
And today we are going to pop off with another holiday book. Similar to the one that we released last week, we are looking at A Holiday Seduction by Tiffany Patterson. It's another novella, and it was released in November, but I love a good Christmas book. And Tiffany, mostly for me anyway, always pleases. So with this particular book, we have Desiree and Neil. We learned about a little bit about Desiree and Neil in A Holiday Temptation that we released a review for. Desiree is Jackie's best friend, and Neil is Jackie's former employer. So Desiree is a teacher and for her side hustle, she's a baker. So she makes cookies and pastries and things like that. And that one day her dream is to open her own bakery. And we have Neil, and he's the CEO of an addiction treatment center, as well as a former addict himself. So it's definitely very interesting from his standpoint of not only trying to stay sober himself, but helping other people to be able to continue living as he has. So the two main characters met when Desiree's sister was getting treatment at that particular facility. Obviously there was always little sparks or anything, but obviously other things were more important. And now her sister did not survive her addiction. She OD'd. So it's been 5 years since the sister's death, and they happen to meet up again at her gravesite. So it was definitely an interesting meeting, but he knew she was going to be there, and the best place to catch somebody is where they're going to be, right? So he thought that now was the time. If he didn't act on this particular he was really interested on it. If he didn't act on it now, would he ever act on it? So it was definitely a morbid start a little bit, but he was finally able to ask her out. So, I mean, I thought this book was very interesting. I don't read very many books that really dive into addiction as much as this one did. Even as a novella, I felt that it was pretty deep in that aspect. Obviously, I personally have never had a family member or anyone in my circle that I know of, that has battled addiction. So, books like this is kind of what opens my eyes to what people are experiencing outside of what you see on the news, because the news always portrays it in such a negative way. They never really talk as much about the positives of people, overcoming addiction, changing their lives, doing good for others and things like that. So what are some of your thoughts, Kitty Boom?
I definitely received this book much better than I received last week's book. And, you mentioned that it really dived into the addiction portion. And I actually liked that. It wasn't something that was brushed over, because it was such a big part of the book, with her sister overdosing from drugs, and with the main character being a recovering addict, and the fact that his profession was he was in charge of running treatment centers. Mm-hmm. So it really was at the heart of the book, something you really could not have this book without delving into it.
I agree. And it, as I said, it definitely opened my eyes on some things that I never even thought of, on how people with addiction and people who are, and he even claims he will forever be a recovering addict.
Right.
Because it never goes away. But, one of the things he fights every day is everything in his life is more to him than the bottle of liquor. What will he lose? Is it worth it? And things like that. So it was definitely very fascinating, especially since not only does he run, he's a CEO of a company, but he also keeps his counseling license active by still running group sessions, which as a CEO, he doesn't have to do. And he still sponsors recovering addicts. So not only outside of his job, he is helping folks stay clean for free, basically, because he's a sponsor for them to talk to and for them to call on when they need help. Right. So I thought that was pretty great.
And then another thing, I really think the book kind of highlighted how addiction really kind of transcends like income, social status, and
Mhm.
careers, and like it can touch anyone. Like here's the main character. Not only is he the CEO, and I know it's like I keep repeating this, of a treatment center, but that was like his family's business. His grandfather had started these types of treatment centers, and then his father ran them, and now he's running them. So, this has always been like a part of his life, and they've been very successful in this arena, and his
Mhm.
family is very wealthy, and he himself was wealthy. And still, that didn't have any say or any effect when it came to him becoming an addict himself.
Right. He's even mentioned he had his first drink at 12, which
Yeah,
is insane to me. But when you have access and wealth, these things happen.
right.
But I loved them as a couple.
Yes.
I thought that they were a great couple. I thought that the chemistry was definitely there. I thought that he was very supportive of her and pushing her. And it could be
Extremely,
part of, I'm
yes.
sorry, what were you saying?
Extremely like motivational and supportive, especially when it came to her being like a baker.
Yeah, he was like, your oven is acting up, use mine. He would be like, well, you wouldn't have to deal with the oven at home if you had your own shop and
Right.
things like that. And he was like, you're amazing. And his mother, I loved his family. I thought that his parents were just like, they were just like all in. The mother was like, where have you been all my life with these sweets? I mean,
Yes.
like, let's order all the goodies, all the cookies, and all the cakes and things like that. Um, so I thought his parents were very down to earth, even though obviously wealthy couple, but definitely down to earth. I thought, they, even though obviously he even talked about how he embarrassed his family as a drunk and things like that until he, finally was ready for that change, where he even talked about how he thought about committing suicide. Like he
Mhm.
literally, somebody saved him and
Oh,
talked him off the cliff.
yes, I was almost in tears when he described the scene of when he had his last drink and he was like at the bridge thinking about jumping during that Christmas holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up like calling this guy who had bought him a bottle of liquor and who was also a recovering alcoholic, and gave him his card to call him and said, if you want to save yourself, give me a call. And he made that call and decided to not jump that night. It was just like heartbreaking. I tell you, now that we're in our age bracket, I feel like I've become such a sap. It's like, break out the Hallmark movies and the tissues and just have a good cry.
I and again, it's like as I said, I've never been exposed to this. So like reading about it, it really spoke to my heart. It's like I I can see how some people fail and some people succeed. It can take
Yeah.
meeting that one person that changed that changes everything. Like if he had not met that guy at the convenience store while he was begging for money, he probably would have committed suicide at some point. And it boggles the mind. But as we talk about them, great. I mean, she had misgivings obviously with what she experienced with her sister and things like that, because her sister lived with her at some point, stole
And lied
and
and
lied and all those things. But let's talk about her mama, because I cannot tell you, I wanted to slap, punch, chop, kick. I was like, talk about emotionally abusive. Like, oh,
yeah,
you're not wearing the dress I picked out. Excuse me, this is a grown 30-something-year-old woman. Why does she have to wear the dress you picked out?
right.
Hello? And why are you nitpicking about what she's doing, how she's doing it, where she's doing it? I can, no wonder she told her mama. It's like, it's probably your fault why our drove our sister to drugs,
Right.
because you literally nitpick their lives away. Like, talk
And
about
even when they're
control.
long out of her house, this woman, she's taking care of her own bills. She's successful in two areas. And it's like the mother's just everything, just
Mhm.
pick, 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 pick. Oh, and it really irritated me when it was that the night that they had, slept together for the first time. And the next morning, the mother just pops up at 7 a.m. Who comes to someone's house at 7 a.m. unannounced? It's crazy.
It's rude.
It's very rude.
Like, unless somebody is dying or dead, There's no reason for you to be at my house at 7 o'clock in the morning talking about, oh, well, I couldn't catch you.
You need to talk. There's like no reason.
None whatsoever. And then had the nerve to talk. She's like, once an addict, always addict, and this and that, and this and that, and nagging and nagging and that. Or how she was mad, disrespect. How you gonna invite somebody over to your house to connect your daughter with when she shows up with a date? Like, who does that? Yes. No wonder the father was like, I just want to apologize.
So what she's talking about is there's a scene in the movie where they're going on, what was it, Thanksgiving dinner?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Thanksgiving dinner. And the main character, she's going to introduce her boyfriend to the family. And the mother decides to bring a potential boyfriend and invite him to hook her daughter up with him, even though she's bringing her boyfriend with her.
Thank you. No wonder the father was like, I just want to, even before all the shenanigans started, I just want to apologize for what my wife is about to do.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at the daddy like, oh, shit.
What's about to happen?
What is about to go down? She was livid, as she should be. Like, who does that? What'd she think she was going to do?
And it's
take
like
some
now
other man's number.
Mention the deceased daughter's name. It's like she has erased the daughter from existence.
I don't blame the cousin for saying, oh, girls, whatever was delicious. She was I forget what it was. Potato salad or something.
Right.
And she was like, so-and-so's potato salad was the best. And all of a sudden, you could hear a pin drop. Why would you bring up that name? Well, it's the truth, which is true. I'm like, I understand that she died under tragic circumstances, but you shouldn't be forbidden from mentioning your cousin's name ever again. Like, that's not logical. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Luckily, in the end, the mother realized what she was doing.
Right.
Especially after a conversation with Neil. That she needed to have.
I can't understand like the mother being kind of like suspicious of his sobriety. Because I mean, it's true. Like people do relapse like all the time. So it's like, how can you ever be like 100% sure? Like you can't even be like 100% sure of like yourself. But to be 100% sure of someone else's sobriety is like.
But she weaponized it though. It wasn't because she was looking out for her daughter. She was using it as a weapon. She was attacking her daughter with the information. It would have been different if she was like, I'm just trying to look out for you. But she wasn't. She was trying to run her daughter's life. And therein lies the problem. But as I said, it's a good thing that she came around in the end. But, I just wish she had just did better. I don't even know what to say. But.
And I was very happy that Desiree went ahead and she was a teacher. That was her main job. And, she was doing the baking as a side, but that was like her passion project. So I was happy when she finally like resigned as a teacher and went into the dessert business like full time.
This is what I also want to mention. So she's talking about how, he's an addict and he could be drinking and you don't even know it and all of this stuff. But I'm like, this man is a millionaire. He ain't about to be selling his TVs no time soon.
I mean, just because you can afford your addiction.
I don't mean that it's a good thing, but she was making it seem like, the mother was making it seem like he was no different than the sister. And it's also like, as much as you can afford your addiction, you can also afford top of the line care. You can afford, it's easy for her she was basically living with him, right?
Yeah.
But she'd never seen him even smell a liquor bottle.
No.
So I'm like, you're at his house 95% of the time. 95. You find a bottle that's been in the back of the whatever that has to have had a few years worth of dust on it.
Yes.
He put it back there 10 years ago.
Right.
10 years ago. You cannot tell me that there's not dust on that bottle.
Well, I don't think it was, because he explained that sometimes he needed it to give, maybe give whoever was visiting him a drink to like calm them down so he could help them.
There would still be dust on the bottle. It may not be, because I'm telling you, Tamika, I have put stuff down for like a year or two and came back to it and wiped it off with my hand.
And he had still dust residue. That maid was not letting any dust gather anywhere in that house.
I don't even remember where she was looking and found the bottle. but it
It
wasn't
was like
exactly.
hard to like find. It wasn't like hidden.
It wasn't hidden, but it wasn't like right there either.
So it wasn't plain in sight either.
And then, oh no, what really made me angry is then she just got up and left and cut all communication. And I'm just like, so you find something. So, like, what with any couple, and I get it, it was a trigger for her. It was a trigger, and I understand.
And
But you don't just cut off communication.
yeah, I didn't understand because, even though I was like, oh, the bottle may have not had dust or whatnot of it, that scene really made me mad too. Because I mean, we have all watched these TV shows where you have these alcoholics where they always have this old bottle of liquor. They're like, oh, this is the last bottle I drank out of, or
Mm-hmm.
oh, my sponsor gave me this bottle. Like it's such a popular thing
Mm-hmm.
that it should at least like cross your mind that he wasn't actively drinking it.
Right. Or even if he was, have that discussion with him. Like maybe something happened the night before that made him bust out the bottle. I'm
Right.
just saying, immediately cutting off all communication and
Yeah,
not
like, it definitely deserved a conversation.
like, hello, you've been swapping spit with this man. You could at least tell him about himself. At least cuss him out and hang up.
Right.
But don't just cut off all communication and then now y'all both miserable and he don't even know what he did. That didn't make any sense. But any other thoughts on the book?
Not that I can think of, but I really did like this one overall. And
Okay.
I think every aspect of it got the right amount of attention.
I
And
agree
he
as well. I
was
really
such a
enjoyed this.
great hero. He was such a great character.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of like a Felix, our holy grail, who we match, all heroes to.
I need a Felix and a Hank, a Felix slash Hank, because I need somebody who could love to cook. I like cooking. I don't mind cooking, but I need somebody who loves cooking because I want the fancy gourmet dinners every night. I personally gave the book a 5 out of 5. I love this book. I love this little book. Even though a couple of parts irritated me and I wanted to slap the mama, I really love this book. I gave it a 5.
I give it a 5 out of 5 too. I actually may go back and reread it right now.
It was a good book. I felt that she gave, as we said, each part the right amount of detail, definitely opened my eyes to some things about addiction that I had no idea about. And we didn't even talk anything about the little sidebar where this company, they were thinking about merging. And he was like, at the end, he was like, nah, something ain't right. And I'm glad he followed his gut.
Because they were trying to make a little factory where they could, shuffle people in and out and not really heal them and have them coming back again and again.
Which is not the thing I love about this character as well is his goal is to not need his treatment centers anymore.
Right.
Like how many companies are like that? His goal is to actually stop addiction.
Right.
And it's not about money. It's not about a revolving door of addicts and things like that. So I really did enjoy that aspect of the book 100%.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today on our discussion of A Holiday Seduction by Tiffany Patterson. Definitely like, subscribe, hit that bell, get notified whenever we drop new videos. We drop new videos every week. There's so many books out there, and there's no way for us to know about them all. So definitely hit us up in the comments about books you think are coming out and you think would be great for us to review, or authors that you love that you want to share with us. We would love to hear more. So thank you for joining us, and we appreciate it.